Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, I'll be discussing my thoughts on episode 6 of the anime series, Masamune-kun's Revenge. And Neko is really becoming more and more interesting of a character to me. She's playing the field, right from the start. It's already going against my speculation that maybe Koiwai had something to do with her entering the fray. Maybe Koiwai had hired her on as somebody to get in between Aragaki and Makabe and everything like that. And we're seeing from right off the bat, Neko is approaching Koiwai, and there seems to be no familiarity between them at all. She's actually looking for Makabe and thinks the best course of action is to go to Koiwai and ask her, where can he be found, because they seem to be inseparable. I don't know if anyone else is actually noticing how much time he spends with Koiwai, his master, in this mission to take down Aragaki. I don't know if anyone else is as aware of it as we, the viewer, that he spends so much time with her. But Neko does seem to be perceiving this, and so she immediately goes after Koiwai to try to find him. And I'm wondering what game Neko is playing exactly. One of the biggest aspects of this episode, somewhat thunderous, a revelation if you ask me, is the fact that the little sort of lolly mommy of Makabe seems to know who Neko is. She says something toward the end of the episode along the lines of, we meet again, or to think that we would meet again under these circumstances, something along those lines. And of course, Neko was sort of looking around Makabe's house after she inadvertently invited both Neko and Koiwai home. Koiwai was following Neko, very suspicious of her, wanting to dismantle whatever resolve she has, whatever interest she has in the whole Aki-Makabe thing. She perceives Neko as being a threat, so she was going to try to take her down, or at least try to get something on her, or find out what, she's up to, where she's going. And she's leading her on these, back alleys of all these houses in this suburban area, and, she ends up accosted by sort of the driver slash, I don't know if it's akin to what Koiwai's role is for Aki, where it's like she's the servant. I don't know if that's what this woman is to Neko, but she's accosting Koiwai. What business do you have with Neko? Neko calls her off, and this is where, of course, Makabe's mother enters the fray and invites them back to his house to make fried shrimp and all these other kinds of foods that he can't stand because of all the carbs and everything that is put into them, all the fats and everything like that. And it's interesting that Neko herself is very much consumed with the idea of, the metabolism, the body, the fats, all of those things, carbohydrates, magnesium. There's the point after Makabe has finished cleaning the pool with Aki, and we had that whole confrontation. Luckily, we pick up right where we left off. She had issued the challenge to him, if you like me, maybe you should kiss me. And he actually did try, but it took him imagining Aki as a ham that he might just like to playfully nip at, for lunch. And when he went in for the kill, she clocked him one, sent him halfway across the pool and everything, and then the class rep comes, and it's awkward, but he just manages to skirt the line of believability that, hey, we just thought we'd jump in the pool, it looked so refreshing, and yada yada yada. It does seem in the aftermath, when Neko catches up with him, he's like sitting on a bench trying to dry off and everything after having been, cast out, in a sense, disrespected by Aki. And she's giving him tea with all these different ingredients that are meant to, keep his body warm, keep his metabolism normal and regulated and all these things. She's going to be feeding him or putting into it magnesium. I wasn't exactly sure if she meant she had put that in the tea or if it was something like a supplement that he should have after that. And she sort of, dialed it back, thinking she was being very presumptuous, but when they're at his house later, rather than, taking platefuls of food, she's got all these, vitamins and things that she's actually taking, which really kind of rubs Makabe's mother the wrong way, the little lolly. She practically leaps across the table. What are you doing? You're supposed to be enjoying your food. So it's interesting, that revelation that, Makabe's mother knows her, And maybe I was hitting the nail on the head with my speculation in the previous episode discussion video. I said something like, could this be a girl that was at the same fat camp as him? She stole a picture, the picture of Makabe as a little chubby kid with Aki after sneaking into his room. You know, he's trying to keep his room no holds barred, completely shut off from anybody, even Koiwai, but Koiwai ends up in there because he's like, what the hell are you doing in my house? Why are you here with her, especially of all people, Neko, you know? And Neko had gone in. She, I guess, was like searching around the room to have found the picture. I think it was the one he shoved in his desk drawer. And he, you know, he completely misses the fact that there is some relatability with Neko. She apparently is very perceptive of it. She's apparently very aware of it. And the picture when she's on the car ride home seems to confirm this. Not only that, but that there is some sort of similar interest in maybe the manipulative nature, but also the interest she has in Makabe as compared to Aki. You know, like, whatever. I don't know quite how far deep down the rabbit hole this goes of relatability between Neko and Aki, whether it is that they are both kind of just bitches who treat people like dirt or whatever like that, or if it's their mutual interest, seemingly in Makabe, even though Aki is very much tsundere, she doesn't want to admit to it and everything like that. She's, you know, trying to like reel him in so many times, and then when he gets close, when he almost answers to that, you know, that challenge, she backhands him. She sends him packing. You know, she gets in some dirty insult. And rather than actually admitting the fact that there might be something more to her interest in him, which again, I speculated, you know, might be something along the lines of maybe Aki does also recognize Makabe from their youth, even though she pretends she doesn't. You know, maybe she knows exactly who he is, and she's challenging him to see if he's actually genuine in his, you know, pursuit of her. She wants a you know, sort of white knight to come running in on you know, horseback to really whisk her away and sweep her off her feet. Is Makabe the guy? This might be a guy that when they were kids she was consumed with, she, you know, very much liked, and in some manner, some way, shape, or form, she felt spurned by him or turned down, maybe because of how he felt being sort of dissed by her. You know, he thought he had to become more fit and everything like that, exercise and maybe attend a fat camp, who knows. Maybe his going away made Aki in her youth think she was spurned by him, and so she became this primo bitch because of that. And now it's all coming full circle where we have Neko, who may have experienced the same sort of, you know, skirting relationship with Makabe, whether they were at a fat camp together, whether it was a church thing, I don't know, because of all that religious underpinning of her character. It's really hard to tell until we have more revealed to us about her past and who she is and what her family is, you know, how that relates and everything like that. But it's just interesting to me that we see Makabe's mother answer to that suspicion. Is there any tie in the past? Makabe believes there is nothing, you know, between he and Neko, that this is the first time he's ever encountered her, but his mother knows better. And how? How is that? How do they know each other? How does his mother recognize her? In what way were they formally introduced, or should say formerly introduced? All that kind of stuff. It raises so many questions, but it keeps me that much more intrigued to want to know. Because Neko, you know, it's interesting, he has a great line as they're lighting fireworks after the dinner and everything at his house. And, you know, Koiwai's being really weird about it because apparently Aki tried to use her as a guinea pig to, like, send her to the moon or something like that in their youth. Or at least when they were a little younger. So she doesn't like the fireworks and everything. And, you know, he's sort of observing Neko's reactions to his little sister and his mother and the way she's behaving. And he comes flat out and says to himself, you know, if you weren't such a liar, because he has no perception of having met her before. He doesn't hold any memories of that. So for all he knows, this is a complete stranger, even now, who's very manipulative, somewhat in a similar fashion to Aki. But if you weren't a liar, maybe we'd have a different relationship. If I wasn't so consumed with my revenge plot against Aki, maybe you and I would be a thing. And that's interesting to me because I got really peeved with Makabe when he turned down the class rep chick, who seemed very genuine, very heartening of a person. You know, like, if he hadn't been so consumed with this revenge plot, he might have had something very happy and satisfying with her. Similarly so with Neko, although Neko really is a suspicious character. You know, she's up to stuff. She's obviously going through his room and stealing his stuff, his picture and everything, being very, you know, snooping around and suspicious. So it's like you can see why he wouldn't automatically fall to her charms, but he is a little bit. He is aware of the fact that he is kind of digging on her. It's only a shame that he doesn't understand as much or as potently that he is also under the charms of Aki, falling under them. He does have a passing line where it's like, you know, if he tries to get too close to her, he's opening up the doorway for his own falling for her that much more. But he's still, by the end credits sequence shows him going after her and using the same sort of pickup line, you know, as far as why he likes her, which was the line when he challenged Neko. Why do you like me? She said something like, because you're too modest to really appreciate how charming you are. You know, your true abilities and capabilities and all these things. You know, complete BS. You know, it's like everybody's playing everybody here. And the gall, in a sense, Makabe has of saying, you know, about Neko, if you weren't such a liar, look at what you're doing. You're going behind Aki's back with Koiwai, her servant, her lifelong servant, to try to get this revenge on her. You have it all pictured in your mind how, you know, you're going to make her fall in love with you. You're going to be on this sunset-lit beach and, you know, you're going to move in for the kill. Right when she thinks you're going to kiss her romantically, you're going to bash her away, backhand her, as she has done so many times to you. How do you think you're any better than Neko? You know, so there's that too. It's just highly interesting, all these different quirks of these characters, how they're all related, how, you know, he doesn't remember anything about Neko. Maybe if he saw a picture of her being a little chubby girl, maybe he would have his memory jogged. Who knows? And it just remains to be seen, is Neko actually genuinely interested in him? She said he saved her. Well, how did he save her? Was it something along the lines of instilling in her or inspiring in her a way to become fit, to be more healthy, all these kinds of things? Maybe she was diabetic as a child and something, his motivation inspired that in her, and she looks to him in some way, shape, or form, some manner, romantically because of that, kind of akin to if you end up watching Fuka, you know, you have the Koyuki, the character who, you know, grew up with the main character Yu as children, and they ended up splitting apart, but because he instilled in her that she sang beautifully, she became a musician. She pursued that as a career. And very similarly, we could have that be what, you know, Neko's sort of motivation is. Maybe he set her on a path to health and awareness of her health and physicality and, you know, eating healthy and looking at carbohydrates, thinking about vitamins, all these things. And that, in a manner of speaking, saved her. And that might be why she has that appreciation. Who knows? It's really up for speculation. And I'm just loving every minute of this series, trying to figure it all out, waiting for them to reveal as much as they can in the twists and turns of the plot and the characterization, how they're all bounding off each other and everything like that. And like I say, he got nowhere with Aki by the end, except maybe decked, uppercutted across a pool when he tried to kiss her, and then he tried to schmooze her by the end. None of it worked, so it's going to be interesting to see where we go from here. Otherwise, that'll be pretty much it for me on this. Hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.